Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're diving into the explosive spoilers for The Young and the Restless. Malcolm Winters is dying from aplastic anemia. Lily is desperate to save her biological father. A bone marrow transplant is his only hope. Malcolm needs a donor immediately. Charlie and Maddie both test negative. The situation looks hopeless until Cane Ashby steps in. Kane gets tested and turns out to be the only viable match. But he doesn't offer to help for free. Instead, he demands full control of Chancellor-Winters in exchange for saving Malcolm's life. He's holding Malcolm's life hostage for power. Lily refuses to play his game. She searches Kane's computer and discovers hidden encrypted files. The shocking truth? Holden Novak's DNA test was completely fake. The results were digitally altered. Holden is not Malcolm's son. He has zero biological connection to the Winters family. His entire identity was fabricated by Kane. Kane bribed a corrupt doctor and created the fake DNA results to plant Holden inside the family. His plan was to use Holden as a pawn to destabilize Lily and Devon and seize control of Chancellor-Winters. Lily goes from confusion to pure rage. She prints the evidence and storms into the hospital in a powerful confrontation. She exposes Kane, calling him a fraud, a liar, and a parasite for exploiting Malcolm's illness. Kane denies it at first, then doubles down with a cold threat. If she exposes him, he will refuse the donation and let Malcolm die. Lily stands her ground. She orders Kane to donate the bone marrow immediately. Once Malcolm is safe, he must leave General City forever. If he ever returns, she will expose him and send him to prison. Kane is now trapped. He will likely go through with the transplant, but his future in General City is over. Devon will be furious when he learns about the corporate manipulation and the fake brother storyline. Nate will see this as the ultimate betrayal. Claire, who has grown close to Holden, will be devastated by the truth. Holden, who believed he finally found his real family, is about to suffer an emotional breakdown when he learns his entire identity is a lie. This is one of the darkest arcs yet. Kane has crossed the point of no return. Lily has emerged stronger than ever as the decisive protector of her family. Power, betrayal, and family secrets collide in Genoa City. Which part of this storyline are you most shocked by? Let me know in the comments.
A man is dying. His family is desperately searching for someone to save him. They find a match, and that match turns around and holds the dying man's life hostage in exchange for corporate power. And then, underneath all of that, there's a secret so ugly it reframes everything that has happened over the past several weeks. Is Holden actually Malcolm's son? What did Lily find on Kane's computer? And what happens when a woman who has been manipulated, cornered, and pushed to her absolute limit finally decides she is done being patient? I'm your host. This is Restless Recaps. Let's get into it. The medical crisis, a family running out of time. Malcolm Winters is dying. Not struggling, not in a rough patch, dying. Aplastic anemia is the diagnosis. And what that means in practical terms is that his bone marrow has stopped doing what bone marrow is supposed to do. His body is failing him from the inside. And the only real path forward is a transplant. A donor match. Someone whose biology lines up with his closely enough to give him chance. So Lily starts testing. She starts with the most obvious candidates. The people closest to Malcolm by blood. Charlie goes first. Not a match. Then Maddie. Not a match either. And with each negative result, the window of hope gets smaller and the desperation in the room gets louder. This is very hard for Lily, because Malcolm is not just a medical case to her. He is her biological father. She has had to hold the complexity of that her entire adult life. Neil Winters was her dad in every way that mattered. He raised her, he loved her, he showed up. Malcolm was the biological fact that existed alongside that reality. And now Malcolm is the one who needs saving. And Lily is the one who cannot stop trying to save him, even when the options keep disappearing. Then Cane Ashby gets tested, and the results come back as the only viable match. You might think that is the moment the story turns hopeful. But that is not the case at all. Kane's demand, a match with a price. Kane does not offer to help. He does not step forward out of decency or loyalty or any recognizable version of human compassion. He sits with the knowledge that he is the only person who can save Malcolm's life, and he decides to use it. His demand is control of Chancellor-Winters. Let that land. A man is dying in a hospital bed. His family is standing there desperate and out of options. And Kane looks at that desperation and sees leverage. He sees a negotiating position. He sees a door he can walk through and take something he has wanted all along. This is not a misunderstanding or a character who made a bad decision under pressure. This is premeditated. This is someone who looked at Malcolm's illness as an opportunity. The extortion is deliberate. The timing is calculated, and the cruelty of it, holding a human life hostage for corporate power, is something that is very hard to sit with even knowing it is fiction. Lily is now in an impossible position. Say yes, and Kane gets what he wants, and the company that she and Devon have built and protected is handed over under duress. Say no, and Malcolm dies. That is not a choice. That is a trap. But here is the thing about Lily Winters. She does not stay trapped. She starts looking for another way out. What Lily finds, the bombshell on the computer. Lily searches Kane's computer, and what she finds there does not just change the current situation. It blows up everything that has happened over the past several weeks. Hidden encrypted files, and inside those files, proof that Holden Novak's DNA test was fake. The results were digitally altered. The entire paper trail that established Holden as Malcolm's son was manufactured. Holden is not Malcolm's son. He has zero biological connection to the Winters family. The half-brother reveal, the family meeting, the emotional reckoning that Lily and Devon and Nate all went through absorbing his existence. All of it was built on a complete fabrication. Now here's where things get even darker. Because this was not a mistake or a coincidence. Kane bribed a corrupt doctor. He created the fake DNA results himself. He inserted Holden into the family on purpose, with a specific goal. Use Holden as a pawn to destabilize Lily and Devon from the inside, create division and distraction, and position himself to take control of Chancellor-Winters while everyone was emotionally occupied with a family identity crisis. Think about how calculated that is. Kane did not just exploit a situation. He engineered one. He found a young man who was already searching for belonging, already vulnerable, already desperate to know where he came from. And he used that vulnerability as a tool. He pointed Holden at the Winters family like a weapon and let him walk in believing he had finally found the truth about himself. Holden is not a villain in this story. Holden is collateral damage. He believed every word of it. He thought he found his father, his sister, his family. He built real emotional connections, especially with Claire. All of that was real to him, and it was all based on a lie that Kane constructed specifically to serve his own agenda. That is one of the ugliest things this show has done with a storyline in a long time. And it means that when the truth comes out, Holden does not just lose a family connection. He loses his entire sense of identity all over again. The same wound his mother's silence gave him, reopened and made worse. Lily's transformation, from desperate to dangerous. Lily prints the evidence. Every file, every document, every piece of proof she found on that computer. She does not sit on it. She does not call a lawyer first. She does not deliberate. She walks to the hospital and she finds Kane. The confrontation that follows is one of the most emotionally charged scenes this storyline has produced. Because Lily is not just angry in the moment. She is releasing something that has been building for a long time. Every manipulation, every time she felt cornered, every moment she doubted herself while Kane was working his angles, it all comes out. She lays the evidence in front of him. Kane's first move is denial. He tries to dismiss it, tries to reframe it, tries to find a way to make the proof look like something other than what it is. And Lily does not flinch. She calls him exactly what he is. A fraud, a liar, a parasite who looked at a dying man and a grieving family and saw nothing but an opportunity to take something. She accuses him directly of exploiting Malcolm, of using his illness, his vulnerability, his need as leverage. of being willing to let him die if he does not get what he wants. Kane doubles down. He threatens to refuse the donation. He says it plainly, expose me, and Malcolm dies. He is making himself into a human detonator, daring Lily to push the button. And here is where Lily's transformation completes itself. She does not beg. She does not negotiate. She does not offer him anything. She stands in that hospital and she gives him terms. Save Malcolm, do the donation, and then leave Genoa City and never come back. And if he ever returns, she will expose every single thing she found. She will send him to prison. She will make sure that every corrupt, ugly thing he has done follows him for the rest of his life. This is not the Lily who was desperate and searching for options an hour ago. This is a CEO who found her leverage and used it with precision. She looked at a man who thought he had all the power and showed him exactly how little of it he actually had. Let that sink in for a second. Kane walked into this confrontation holding what he thought was an unbeatable hand. I'm the only match. You need me. You will give me what I want. And Lily walked in with evidence that turned his position into a liability. The moment she laid that proof on the table, the balance of power shifted completely. Kane is no longer the one making demands. He is the one facing exposure, legal consequences, and public destruction if he does not comply. He is trapped, and he knows it. The fallout, what this does to everyone around it. Devin is going to be furious. He is already carrying stress from the Mariah situation, already stretched thin emotionally. And now he finds out that the entire fake brother storyline, the family meeting, the suspicion, the absorption of Holden's existence into their lives, was a manufactured scheme designed specifically to destabilize Chancellor-Winters. Devin's anger at Kane is going to be explosive, but underneath the anger is also going to be something harder, the feeling of having been played, of having opened up, even slightly, to the possibility of Holden being family, and now discovering that the whole thing was a manipulation. Nate carries a different kind of pain. His connection to Malcolm is personal and deep. The idea that someone used Malcolm's illness, used the most vulnerable, most human moment in this family's recent history, as a chess piece in a power grab is a specific kind of betrayal that hits Nate somewhere profound. Claire bonded with Holden. She saw him struggling. She stepped toward him. She became the one steady thing in a week where everything else was uncertain for him. And now she has to reckon with the fact that the person she connected with, his story, his identity, his reason for being here, was constructed by someone else. That does not erase what she felt, but it changes the context of everything. And then there is Holden himself. He's going to find out. There is no version of this where he doesn't. And when he does, the emotional devastation is going to be total. He came to Genoa City believing he had finally found the truth about who he was. He found what he thought was a father, a sister, a family history, things he had been missing his entire life. And all of it was fabricated. He was not just lied to by his mother. He was used, deliberately, strategically, without care for what it would cost him. Kane inserted him into this family as a pawn and never considered for a single moment what it would do to him when it fell apart. Holden is the character this storyline has been the most cruel to, and his emotional breakdown, when it comes, is going to be one of the rawest things this show delivers in the coming weeks. Kane almost certainly goes through with the donation. His options are gone. Lily has the evidence. She has made the terms clear, and refusing now does not protect him. It just adds letting Malcolm die to the list of things he will be held accountable for. The logical move is to comply and take the exit she is offering. But villains rarely stay gone. Kane leaving Genoa City is not the same as this being finished. The Chancellor-Winters power struggle that he tried to trigger does not disappear just because his scheme was exposed. Devin and Lily now have to look at everything that happened over the past weeks and understand it through the lens of manipulation. That reassessment is going to affect how they run the company, how they handle outside relationships, how much they trust the next person who comes to them with a connection or a claim. Lily has to tell Holden the truth. That conversation is one of the most difficult things she's going to face coming out of this because Holden did nothing wrong. He does not deserve what is coming to him, but he deserves the truth more than he deserves a comfortable lie. And Lily is not someone who protects people by keeping them in the dark. Devon's confrontation with Kane, if it happens before Kane leaves, is going to be worth watching. Devon's anger, expressed directly at the man who engineered this entire situation, is not going to be measured or diplomatic. And Malcolm, if the donation goes through, gets his chance to survive. After everything that surrounded this search, the desperation, the fake DNA, the extortion, the confrontation, Malcolm gets a chance. Whether he takes it, whether the transplant works, whether he comes out the other side of this. That is the question the show is holding over the audience going into May. The bigger picture, what this storyline is actually about. At its core, this storyline is about what people are willing to do for power and what it costs everyone around them when they do it. Kane looked at a family in crisis and saw an entry point. He looked at a young man's longing for identity and saw a tool. He looked at a dying man and saw leverage. Every version of his scheme involved taking something real and human, grief, love, belonging, survival, and turning it into a mechanism for control. That is a specific kind of evil. Not dramatic, not theatrical, just cold and deliberate and willing to let people suffer for personal gain. Lily's arc through this is the counterweight. She starts the storyline desperate and reactive. She ends it standing in a hospital with evidence in her hands, setting terms to a man who thought he had her cornered. That is not just a plot development. That is a character who has been pushed far enough that she found something in herself she did not fully know was there. The strength she shows in that confrontation is the culmination of everything she has been through. The losses, the manipulations, the moments of doubt, arriving at a version of herself who does not flinch. And Holden's story, painful as it is ultimately about the cost of other people's ambition on innocent people who never asked to be part of the game. He is not a casualty of a dramatic twist. He is a person whose search for identity was weaponized by someone who did not care about him at all. This is one of the darkest arcs the show is running right now. It is not done yet. That is your full breakdown of the Kane, Malcolm, and Lily storyline right here on Restless Recaps. 3 questions for the comments. Does Kane actually go through with the donation? Or does he find one more way to make this harder than it needs to be? When Lily tells Holden the truth, how does he handle it? And does his relationship with Claire survive it? And is Devon's reaction to all of this going to create new problems at Chancellor-Winters? Or does this bring him and Lily closer together? Leave everything in the comments. Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to never miss any update. Thank you for watching till the